Hello viewers, yes, this is Ranjana ma'am. So quite a few of my students had asked me for the answers to the MCQ of the literature paper. So yes, here I am. Let's discuss them in order to find the correct answer. So the first one, what does Antony describe as thou bleeding piece of earth? So Antony, when he sees the body of Caesar lying in the dust, badly killed, assassinated by the conspirators, so he says, thou bleeding piece of earth. So what are the options? Caesar's robe that was stained with blood? No. The blood soaked spot on which Caesar lies? No. The bloodied pedestal on which Caesar fell? No. Caesar's lifeless body covered in blood. So thou bleeding piece of earth, forgive me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle. So he is talking about, or he is referring to the lifeless body of Caesar covered in blood. So that means it's option D. Then the second one, when Brutus says ambition's debt is paid, he means that. So the options are Caesar's greed for power and possession had resulted in his death. This is the first option. B, Caesar had left 75 drachmas. This is completely out. Mark Antony would be permitted to speak. This is also completely eliminated. And the last one, the conspirators would be punished for assassinating Caesar. These three are ruled out, B, C and D. So which one is left? A, obviously. And ambition's debt is paid. Whose ambition? It was Caesar's ambition. So the debt is paid how? In his death. So it is A. The third one, after Antony's speech following Caesar's assassination, the angry mob kills. So whom does the angry mob kill? Cinna the conspirator, Cinna the poet, Decius Brutus, Cicero. So Cinna the conspirator, no. Cinna the conspirator should have been killed, but he is not killed. But Cinna the poet, who is an innocent person, just because he bears the same name, he is killed. He keeps on saying, I am Cinna the poet. But then also the angry mob kill him. So Cinna the poet, B is the correct option. When Antony says, fourth one, he must be taught and trained and bid go forth, a barren spirited fellow, he refers to. So whom does Antony refer to? So the options are Octavius, Lucilius, Lucius and Lepidus. No, it's not Octavius, because he was talking to Octavius about someone. Lucilius, no, Lucilius is not in the group of Antony. And Lucius is the servant of Brutus. So these two are completely ruled out. And who remains? It's Lepidus. So the fourth, or option D. Fifth one, who were the members of the second triumvirate formed to rule over Rome after Caesar's assassination? So after Caesar's assassination, a second triumvirate had been formed. Three people. Triumvirate means the rule of three. First triumvirate was between Caesar, Pompey and Cassius. And later Caesar became the one and only in the group. These two died. Pompey was defeated and killed, and Cassius also died in one battle, and then it was only Caesar and Caesar and Caesar. But after his death, the second triumvirate was formed. You have it in your Act 4 or maybe Act 5. So first one, option Julius Caesar, Cassius, Pompey. No, it's ruled out. Why? Because that was the first triumvirate. Marcus, Brutus, Caius, Cassius and Casca. No, they did not form a triumvirate. And Mark Antony, Octavius, Lepidus. Yes, this is the second triumvirate. Octavius, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. So Julius Caesar was not alive when Octavius came to Rome. So that is also completely ruled out. I said already that it is option C. Which of the following words best describe Cassius's mood when he says, come Antony and young Octavius, come, revenge yourselves alone on Cassius? So what was his mood? Anxious? No. Regretful? No. Fearful? No. Frustrated? Yes. Frustrated. He was frustrated. In the poem Haunted Houses, what does the speaker see at his fireside that the stranger cannot? Speaker or the narrator, what can he see but the stranger cannot see? So, stranger cannot see the past, but the speaker can see the past as well as the present. So, the speaker says only what is physically present is wrong. The stranger can see the spirits while the speaker cannot. This is just the opposite. And the speaker sees both the present and the past is correct, and the stranger sees both the present and the future is also ruled out. Keep on eliminating. So, in this case it is option C. Now, the eighth one, in the poem The Glove and the Lions, who does Count de Lodge sigh for? So, the lions that ramped and roared, no, it is very stupid. King Francis, who loved the royal sport. So, how can Count de Lodge sigh for King Francis? The nobles who filled the benches, no, it is not. So, he is pining, he is sighing for someone. The beauteous, lively dame. So, D is the correct option. Question number 9. Select the option that shows the correct relationship between statements 1 and 2. So, when great trees fall, the world is left permanently unstable. No, when great trees fall, not the world. When the great trees are referred, it is the natural world, and that also not permanently. For some time, and after that they come back to their normalcy, but for some time. So, it cannot be permanently, and not the world but the natural world. So, this one is not true. So, you have to search for some option where the first one is not true. So, option in the poem, the natural world is depicted as reacting with fear and uncertainty when great trees fall. This is correct. How the elephant reacts, how the lion reacts and all that. So, yes, the second one is true. So, now let us see the options. 1 is false but 2 is true. Yes, we find the answer first here only. So, it is option A. Both 1 and 2 are false, ruled out. 1 is true and 2 is false is again ruled out, and both 1 and 2 are true. No, the first one is not true. So, it is option A. The poem number 10, the poem A Considerable Speck expresses Frost's what? Love for the little organism, respect for intelligent life, indifference to tiny creature, and anger at the mite's escape. So, love for little organism, he said he doesn't have that collectivistic love and all that, he has ruled it out. Acha, if we go for C, indifference to the tiny creature, no, it is not so. Anger at the mite's escape, no, it is not so. B is the correct option. Respect for intelligent life. So, B is the correct one. Which of the given options contains the figure of speech that appears in the following line from the poem, The Power of Music? In my preparation videos also I had told you that you should prepare very well simile, metaphor, alliteration, personification, irony and hyperbole, oxymoron. So, these are the ones I discussed even yesterday in my live, or rather on the eve of the exam I discussed. So, here you see, and in the sky the feathered fly turn turtle while they are winging. So, what do we find in this line? Feathered fly, FF, turn turtle, TT, while they are winging, while W and W again in winging. So, here it is an example of an alliteration. So, in the options we will have to search where there is an alliteration, which one is the example of an alliteration. So, let us read the options first. You are 1 month on in the middle of May, A. B. Rainbow tinted circles of light. C. And life is too much like a pathless wood. And D. The wind lies asleep in the arms of the dawn. So these are the 4 options. See, let's go for the first one. You are 1 month on, OO, in the month of, in the middle of May, MM. So we are to search for an alliteration, and that you will find it here. So it's option A. In the short story with the photographer, the narrator asks the photographer, "Is it me?" Because why does he ask? Options are: he's delighted with the photographer's skill. No, he is not. He looks very handsome in the photograph. Ruled out. He is unable to recognize his own face. Yes. He is unable. Is it me? So he cannot recognize his own face. So C is the correct option. And he is ashamed of how he looks in the picture is also ruled out. So C is the correct one. In the short story, The Elevator, which of the following does Martin's father not do? Not do. N is in capital. Not is in capital. That means one option will be what the father does not do, and the other options will be what the father does. So we have to search for the one which his father does not do. When Martin expresses his fear of the elevator, he dismisses Martin's concern. He does it. So this is not the, we have to find which he does not do. He encourages Martin to use the stairs. This is what he does not do. He does not encourage. So B is the correct option. In spite of it, let's go for C and D. He tells Martin to grow up and be brave. This is what he does. And the last one also he does. He watches TV and ignores Martin's fears. So it is B. He encourages Martin to use the stairs. He doesn't encourage. So this one, 13, is number 2. Choose the option that lists the sequence of events from Ray Bradbury's short story, The Pedestrian. So 1, 2, 3, 4, but they are jumbled up. So always try either to find the last one or the first one. So one night, let's read it. One night as he was nearing home, he was stopped by a police car. Since his answers were considered odd and unacceptable, he was forced to enter the car and taken away. You can understand very well this will be the last one. Taken away. Okay. Leonard Mead loved to walk through empty streets at night. This will be your first one. And a metallic voice from the car asked him a series of questions. So let's hunt where you have number 3 as the first one and number 2 as the last one. So A, no. 2, 1, 3, 4, no. Why? Because 2 has to be the last one. 1, 3, 4, 2. Here we have 2 as the last option, but 3 is not the first one. So this is also ruled out. And 3, 1, 4, 2. Here we have Leonard Mead loves to walk. That means sentence number 3 as the beginning one. And the last one, since his answers. So 3, 1, 4, 2 is the correct one. Where was Ajowa born? Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya. So it's Ghana. B is the correct one. And last one from the last lesson. Why did M. Hamill have to leave the school after 40 years of service? A. He was not allowed to teach French any longer. Why? Alsace and Lorraine was no longer under French control. So that is why he was not allowed to teach French any longer. So other options are obviously ruled out. He had grown tired of his job as a school teacher. He was thought to be too strict in his ways, again ruled out, and he wanted to retire and take up farming. So these are all ridiculous options. No question of any doubts here. So the first one is the correct one. So your MCQs this time was quite easy. There was no question of doubt or confusion in any. None of them were confusing, very close. Only one option stood out in most of them out of the 16. So I'm sure you must have got 16. You must have scored 16 out of 16. And that will take you to a very strong place in your marks, means you will be very close to your 80 if you have answered the questions well. So yes, I had told you Act 3, Scene 2, 3, Scene 1 and Scene 2 are very important, and Mark Antony's speeches in Act 3, Scene 2, you must have gone through the videos. And yes, this one also I told, friends, Romans, countrymen, I also told you it is one of my favorite elocution speech when I was in school. So this one has come, and this time Act 5, I told you that in many schools in the pre-boards Act 3 and Act 4 had come, but you cannot rule out Act 5. So this time Act 3 and Act 5. And then in prose, the elevator. Though in many schools the pedestrian had come, elevator this time rather with the photographer did not come, but here you have the elevator and the last lesson. I had said that last lesson there is a chance of its coming. Why? Because it is the easiest of the lot. The last lesson is the easiest of the lot, so there is a chance of its coming. And after that, though, we all are the first batch. And in poetry, the glove and the lions, though many of us had expected, and in many question papers, the haunted house was given in pre-boards, but yes, they thought it differently, and the glove and the lions. But anyway, glove and the lions is an easy one. In comparison to haunted houses, I find glove and the lions comparatively much more easier. And then a considerable speck. But one thing I noticed are the questions are not confusing, they are quite direct questions. So I am sure you all must have done well. So best of luck for the remaining exams.